I am Gerard Venita. I'm the Director of Booking over here at Capital One Hall. I'm also the main administrator for the Community Arts Program over here at the Hall. I have Kelly here with Arts Fairfax as well joining me. Thank you for coming to this Community Arts Partnership Information Center for Season 7. Um, we'll I have a little presentation to give and we'll hold all questions until the end. So we'll just get started here on this presentation. 1 second. Can everybody see the screen?
Lemon.
Gonna mute you, Lourdes, sorry. Excellent. So this is the information session for the Community Arts Partnership over here, Season 7. It runs from September 27th to June 28th. It is a collaboration and partnership with Capital One Hall and Arts Fairfax and the County of Fairfax. It is a way to bring in local arts organizations in Fairfax County into a professional theater space. Yeah, it's a brief overview of that. See, 1 second. This is just a little bit about Arts Fairfax. I'm not sure if Kelly wants to talk about it a little bit, but basically it's the main arts organization over here in Fairfax County that sort of organizes a lot of the other local arts programs here. It's a county-run program.
No, we're actually a 501c3 nonprofit, but the county does support us and our work, and we sometimes act like we're, or some of the things we do sort of replicate the services like the county provides. So not quite, but very closely tied to the work that Fairfax County does. So, yeah.
Thanks for
the intro, Gerard.
Of course.
Yeah.
So here's a sort of a little bit of an agenda of what we're going to discuss today. What's on stage in Season 5. Currently, we are running Season 5 in the venue. Season 6 will start in September 2026. And then, of course, this is about Season 7, which will start in September 2027. And this is the program that you guys that are on this call would be applying to. I'll discuss what venues we actually have to offer over here, what spaces at Capital One Hall. If you guys have not been to the venue, we're located over in Tysons, Virginia, on the Capital One headquarters. It's a beautiful new venue, just under five years old. And we'll discuss a little bit more about what venues are in here exactly when we get there. We'll also be discussing the application process that, sort of have to apply for this program, anticipated cost of what it takes to do a show over here, and also transportation and parking. There are a couple other things that we'll discuss as well. So right now in Season 5, we have quite a bit of programming. Every second week of the month from September up until June, we have is allotted to the Community Arts Program partnership. It is the weekend itself is for main theater programming reserved for that. And during the week, the Vault is, which is our black box theater, which we'll discuss in a little bit, is reserved for the Community Arts Partnership as well. Right now in Season 5, we have Artists in Motion. We have Fairfax Symphony Orchestra. John, who's on the call right now, is sort of the main person for that program. And Greater Washington Chinese Dance. We just finished a very good Fairfax, or a very good Community Arts Partnership weekend this past weekend, where we had the Virginia Chamber Orchestra, the Chinese Cultural Institute, and Paragon Philharmonic in the Vault. Pretty successful weekend, good attendance, solid Valentine's Day programming this past weekend. So here we can discuss the spaces that we have to offer. Right now, we have the main theater, which is 15, just about a little over a 1,500 cap venue. It's a full theater space, pretty large stage. Um, it is a professional theater as professional theater can get. It is a very flexible space as well. And, we presented everything from ballets, Broadway, concerts. It is an amazing space. We have the Vault Theater, which, as I mentioned before, is the black box theater space that we are offering. Um, it is a 200, just over 200 capacity seated venue, black box theater. Um, it has stadium seating that comes out, but if someone decides to do a general admission show, it is 300 capacity. And then we have the classrooms, which has been used as a rehearsal space before, sort of a general classroom space. It's available all year round, and it can be split into two separate spaces. Um, Basically, this one space, which is a combining of two classrooms, is 80 capacity, and the half capacity is 40. As far as the rental rate for these rooms, it is 1950 for the main theater, 500 for the vault space, and the classrooms, depending on how long you are renting the space, it's 100 or $50. Um, yes, these are the three spaces that we have to offer for the program. These are the general event guidelines for the program itself. Um, Basically, the person contracted or the organization contracted needs to be the primary presenter, producer, and promoter for the event. You can't get this space and then sort of loan it out to another promoter or presenter. It has to be the organization that the show is contracted with in order to present the event. Guest artists and collaborations are in fact allowed. You know, just as an example, we've had Fairfax Symphony come through and do some collaborations with some pretty large artists. And so, that is allowed. Other arts organizations combining to do stuff is also allowed. Uh, the event must feature an arts-related performance or demonstration in either the main theater or vault. Those are the general guidelines for, what this program entails. Eligibility for the program. So the organization must have an address of record in Fairfax County. Organizations holds a current status under the 501c or operates as specifically defined arts division or program within a large nonprofit 501c organization, Fairfax County agency, or Fairfax County Public Schools. Organization's core mission is the creation, exhibition, presentation, production, or performance and/or education in an arts discipline. Organization is in compliance with all local, state, and federal laws. The organization must carry general liability insurance of at least 1 million per occurrence and 2 million aggregate. In addition, the contracted organization must be the primary presenter, producer, creator of the proposed program and must identify guest artists and collaborating organizations and clearly define their roles. I'm going to kick it over to Kelly just to explain a little bit more and get into a little bit more detail about the eligibility portion of this.
Yeah, thanks, Gerard. And do you mind if I share my screen for a minute too? So kind of like Gerard mentioned, the eligibility piece will really come up when you start working on the application for your season 7 semester role to sort of evaluate the eligibility of your organization and your programming for before it gets past to Capital One Hall. And Gerard will talk more about the timeline in a moment. So I want to just share with you where you can find this information and a few highlights to know about how that submission process works. So let me get to the right window. And I think we're all looking at the Arts Fairfax website that's talking about Capital One Hall. Yes? All right, fantastic. If you haven't been to the Arts Fairfax website in a little bit, we've completely redesigned it, and hopefully we've really made information easy to find. So I suggest starting here. This is artsfairfax.org, and I've navigated under our community partnerships to the Capital One Hall page. You're going to see some great photos, maybe even your own organization's photo, judging by who's on the call today. But as you scroll to the bottom of the page, you're really going to find more resources that include a lot of information that Gerard is going to share today and that you can reference as you're planning or considering what you might do at Capital One Hall. So down towards the bottom of the page, you can find really an overview of the timeline of the process. Now, we always have multiple seasons kind of existing in the same moment, so we have tried to spell out which one we're in and which one is happening on stage and which one is next. You'll also be able to see the specs from the hall that Gerard will work through in a moment, and just a couple other pieces of information that are going to prove really helpful. So when you have some time, flip through these pages here. After today, sometime next week, probably, we'll have this information session updated with a recording link here so you can come back and reference it next time. But then the second thing you should know is we do have this link to apply now. And when you click here, it actually takes you to our Submittable webpage. Submittable is the platform that Arts Fairfax uses to collect application for grants and other events. So when you come here, it's going to look to a page like this. As you scroll down to the bottom of the page, you'll see any of our open applications. And right now there's a couple. It'll sort of change and vary between now and the deadline, but you'll click on this one that says Capital One Community Arts Partnership Request. When you go to submit this application, the first thing it's actually going to ask you to do is to log in with your account. But after you log in, you'll be taken to an eligibility quiz. And those pieces that Gerard just mentioned in the last slide, it's basically asking those in question form. Do you have an address of record in Fairfax County? Are you a 501c3 organization? What's your mission? All these things. My suggestion to you is if for some reason your organization doesn't quite meet one of these criteria, please reach out to myself or Shannon Smith, my colleague who couldn't be here tonight, and we can help you work through that. Sometimes people work through this very quickly and then do all the work on the other application and then actually find out maybe they weren't eligible. So check with us if you have any question first. Once you submit this eligibility quiz and hit next, you're actually taken to the application. We share a lot of resources at the top of the page. We can direct you back to our website that we were just looking at with all those Capital One Hall resources. And just sort of reminders about the existing timeline. A couple of highlights that are included in the application. The first section is a lot of basic organization information, different information about where you're located and the type of programming that you provide. But I do want to highlight a couple places. First, as you get into like the meteor narrative section of the application, there's a few places where the answer to your question will trigger different questions later in the application. I believe that specifically starts here. Which best describes your organization's request for season? It says 6, and I've just found a typo, so it will say 7 the next time you look at this. Which best describes your organization's request for season 7? Depending on how you are proposing your programming, you'll see different sort of questions here. So don't be surprised if things come and go, like this question is here depending on your answer. But know that when you change that answer, it may disappear or go away. So something to keep in mind as you work through the application. Same thing happens when you select, it's gonna be confusing here. And when you select main hall versus the vault, it will give you different places to answer questions about those locations. So definitely a thing to be aware of as you continue through the application. A lot of this is very straightforward. It hasn't really changed since the season 6 application. Uh, One big thing we did change in season 6, you can only submit one application. Within this application, you can, as you notice, like submit multiple dates or some consecutive dates around your request, but you only have one submission you can put into this system. If you have questions on how to approach that for your programming, again, please reach out to Shannon and I. We're happy to help figure out how it should go into this form. Last thing I would suggest, Submittable is sometimes a fickle platform. There is a save draft button down at the end of the form. I would suggest saving very frequently if you're working in this format and you're going in and out of the application. Sometimes even like if your computer falls asleep for a moment, you can lose things that are saved. So in theory, it auto saves. In reality, go down here and hit the button so that you don't get too caught up in working on it and find out it's gone. When all else fails, log out of the program, log back in again, and that should get you to the place that you need to go here. And of course, I'll just say it again, Shannon Smith and myself are happy to help answer questions with Submittable. The earlier you can get your request in, the better. I know Gerard's going to get to deadlines in a moment, but that deadline of May 1st as a submission, it's May 1st specifically at 7 p.m. That is an absolute and hard deadline. So start early, ask us questions. We're happy to help, and we're here. I'm going to turn it back to Gerard.
Thank you so much, Kelly.
Yeah.
Super helpful information, and yeah, we'll just continue on. Right. Application process, which Kelly sort of just went through and really gave some information about. Yeah, I mean, get on that website, get your application in by May 1st, 7 p.m.
Yes.
Just so that we can get them reviewed and see who's eligible.
Yeah, and the reason we do a 7 p.m. cutoff and we do it for almost everything is that Submittable's tech support shuts off at 7 p.m. Eastern. So we can't help you between 7 and midnight. Nobody can help you if something goes wrong. So that's where we put our deadline, and 7 p.m. is going to be a hard stop.
Excellent. All right. So these are sort of the deadlines and the timeline of the application process for season 7 itself. As you all know, February this month was the opening of applications. Today, February 19th, is the information session. Season 7 applications close on May 1st, 7 p.m. That's after that, once May rolls around, eligible participants are referred to Fairfax County for approval. It's sort of the review process. Then the seasonal list is sent over as well towards the end of that month. And then over here on mine of things, I start scheduling those users that have been approved for the program between May and September. And then October 2026 is when sort of the schedule is set. Yeah, that's the general timeline for what happens for this process. Reservation processes or process. We receive a list over here from Arts Fairfax and the county of approved users. And from that point, we reach out to those users and end up seeing what kind of dates and what kind of scheduling we can do on our calendar. Capital One Hall is a super busy theater, but we do have that week that is reserved for the community arts program. They get first look for that week, and it is specifically reserved for this partnership. So, it's a lot of just managing a calendar on my end of things and figuring out where things fit and how best we can serve you, or whoever you know, gets into the program for the dates that they would like. So yes, once they're placed, we'll reach out and contract the event. So all uh, shows here are ticketed events. We have a specific uh, ticketing system over here with Ticketmaster. The reason why we want ticketed events over here is it's for one, safety. Everybody in the building we want accounted for. In addition, we have marketing over here. We have a great in-house marketing team that can help bring people and to the show, and to the performances. And then from that, you can develop in your organization a buyers list, from our box office with sort of names and emails of people who attended the event. What is also known is that there is a higher redemption rate for a ticketed show versus a non-ticketed show. So that is also another plus because we do want people to attend your event, and I'm sure you do as well. Um, Also, for ticketed events, ticket revenue is applied to show expenses. I'll get into sort of the show expenses portion of that in a couple slides from now, I believe. So the ticket build form is our main source of information that we get from uh, the user, the approved user, on how we're going to build your show and when it's going to go on sale and announced. We need just some information. We actually have a Google Doc, I believe, that is sent out to the approved user that needs to be filled out before anything else starts as far as proceeding on with the show. It's due 10 business days before the proposed announced and on sale. It needs to include the show title, date, and time, pricing, any kind of discounts, on sale date. In the main theater itself, each user can get 100 comps in the main theater. So those are free tickets that is allotted to the specific user, and it's 50 in the vault. We have a really good box office team over here that knows the Ticketmaster system extremely well. Jackie, who is our main sort of box office supervisor, really knows her stuff about Ticketmaster and can really help you out and how to get this done and how to get your show built. As mentioned before, Ticketmaster is our exclusive ticket retailer. There is a fee that goes for community events, but it is much more discounted than our regular commercial Ticketmaster fees. The guest pays $1.50 a ticket or $1.50 an order. We also use other ticketing partners for discounting, and just to fill the house as well. Certificates, Gold Star, tickets for kids are some of the other partners we use. So paid versus free shows. There is a free show option technically, where we can accomplish getting it's all more or less comp tickets for the shows. There is a fee that is uh, involved with that. It's a $3 reservation fee, and it needs to be used through another sort of Ticketmaster program called Account Manager. We don't see, or you won't see any of that fee as well. It just goes to Ticketmaster. It's sort of a ticket processing reservation fee. I can get into a little bit more detail on that offline if anyone's interested in that sort of model. But you won't be able to cover a lot of the expenses if it is a free show, for the show expenses. As I mentioned before, we have a really, really, really good in-house marketing team over here. They really can help you market the shows, with social media marketing and sort of organic marketing as well. There are marketing services that they offer, but it is for an additional fee. But there are also free marketing services that are offered with getting a show booked over here. I can definitely sort of connect you with our marketing team, or Also, just sort of so that they can tell you what can be offered as far as free marketing and what's paid marketing. But for on sale and announce, the marketing team needs a couple things. They need layered show posters, a show description, a press release if you have it, high resolution copies of the logo, of your organization's logo. Um, it's very important and that a marketing budget, if possible, can be provided. You know, and as well as sales goals for how many tickets you want to sell, sort of what's your general idea of how many people and what you want to accomplish with with the show itself, as well as website and social media links. We have a lot of followers over here in on our social media platforms. It's over 20,000. We have 56,000 people subscribed to our newsletter, and 113,000 people that's sort of been through here or has been a customer purchase a ticket over here at this venue. So, this is all stuff that can be used for your advantage to get people to the show. So, technical capabilities. As I mentioned before, our main theater and our vault are very flexible rooms, really state-of-the-art sound system, state-of-the-art lighting systems. It's a real theater. I myself am not a big production guy. I'm more of on the booking side of things. So a lot of this stuff doesn't make too much sense to me as far as the technical jargon, but we have a very, very good director of production over here, JP. He knows his stuff. His whole team is very, very good and well versed in all technical aspects of the show. You're going to be working with true professionals and they're pretty well known in this market and in this area as far as technicians and production people. So you're working with some of the best people in the area as far as production goes in this program. Um, little stage, uh, a little bit about the theater, I guess. Like I said, I'm not too well versed with this production stuff, but if you have any additional questions about production, please reach out to me and I can get you, our tech specs over to you. Right. This is the communication timeline after you've been approved as a user for the Community Arts Partnership. In January 2027, we contact the users and we contract the date. So you'll get a use license agreement on how to be in the room. We will review it. We expect it to be signed. And then a deposit is usually necessary as well. Once that's all buttoned up, about 90 days prior to the show, you complete the ticket request form, the ticket form, the Google Doc, and then we'll start also building your show, and also send the required marketing assets that were mentioned previously in the marketing slide. 70 days prior, we check back in about the ticket build form and the marketing assets to make sure that we have everything set and built for your show for announce and on sale. It's a lot of volume for my very small but very, very capable box office team. So we need as much time as possible to get these shows built and ready to go on sale. So that's why we have this sort of timeline that seems like it's 3 months out, but it comes along and there's a lot to do before we can get to the point of getting your show advanced and getting your show ready to play off. 60 days prior, we usually try and do an event announce or talk about the event announce and on sale procedure. Your event should be built in Ticketmaster usually by that point. We also offer an on-site production tour with my production team and myself, just so that you can understand what's going on in the theater and sort of get an idea of the plans you have for your show. 14 days out from the event, the final production details are due to Capital One Hall production manager. So we really need to get this, we want to be as prepared as possible when your show comes in and ready for everything that could possibly happen or does happen in your show. So these details are very important to send to our production team so that they are prepared. We want you to have the best experience in the theater as possible. So, very important to get those details over to us. And then 7 days prior, I will provide a pre-settlement on sort of what the expenses that have been incurred, what's included as far as expenses with this community arts program. Um, you'll see a pre-settlement doc. It's just so that documents, it's so that you are not surprised by anything that will be coming up on the final settlement after the show. That's also the time that we'll begin closing marketing efforts for the show. And if we need to make a final push, that's sort of the time we end up doing it. So that is the communications timeline for after you've been approved as a community arts partner. Yep. This is a little bit of a sample of the day of show timeline. This varies a lot by sort of what the requirements of the show are. It could be you load in earlier, you could load in later. It really depends on what is advanced and what is required for the show. Really, this is just a general sense of being in the building with a 12 p.m. load in, 2 p.m. rehearsal and sound check. Our doors for all of our shows open an hour prior to the show. That's the building doors. So it's either the doors to the vault or the doors to the main theater. Our house doors, our theater doors open 30 minutes prior to showtime. Food and beverage is allowed in the theater. So we have that. We do offer concessions and over in the theater and in the vault as well. 7 p.m. is showtime. And then end of show, day is done, building is clear, 10 p.m. Really depends on what your run of show is and how long your show will be. Maybe it'll be around, an hour and a half. So 9:30, the show will be down, and then we'll do a loadout. So this is what I'm explaining to you about sort of the fees and expenses that are included with being accepted into the the community arts partnership. As mentioned before, rent is $19.50, but with that and what's included in rent is the house sound and lights and lighting equipment, event security, 3 people for 6 hours, and bag checkers as well, 4 people for 4 hours each. Ushers are included, box office personnel, operations people. Your techs are actually, one tech is actually included for sound, one tech is actually included for lighting, and housekeeping is included up to $1,000. These rates are extremely discounted and from a commercial show. So it's actually a really, really good deal and a really good opportunity to be able to work in a theater space for a discounted rate. The vault rent, as mentioned, is $500. You get basically the same offerings, just at a little smaller scale because the vault is a smaller scale as well. And for the classrooms, what's included is production and cleaning. It's just 1 hour for one person for 4 hours, and the post-show cleaning is up to $100. We over here in Capital One Hall, we are not a union house, so we do not use union labor, but we do have a very, very well-established house crew here. These are some really professional technicians that come in, will be able to really knows how to run the shows. So we really, we really depend on them for our labor over here. But yeah, we also, with all of our in-house sound and lighting, it's some very, very great state-of-the-art equipment. It is included, as you see, with the with being part of this program. But you cannot bring your own house lighting and your house lighting and house sound equipment. Basically, what we have for you is what we have. All right. So here's a little sample of show expenses for shows in the main theater and the vault. This is for a ballet sample, a symphonic show sample, and a choral sample that's in the vault. You'll see here what's sort of included. This is all sort of based on a 10-hour day. So that's from load in to load out. Uh, it really is a phenomenal deal. I can tell you right now, since I am the main person that deals with commercial bookings in the main theater, you are getting almost monetarily almost like a $10,000 discount on commercial shows. Usually on commercial shows take anywhere from 10,000 or 17,000 to about 20 something thousand dollars to produce. So doing a show in the main theater at this discounted rate is it's great. And it really is great to be able to bring these local community arts programs into a professional theater space. Um, Everything here that's included was what was listed previously in the last slide. The only thing is there's certain things that, might be required additionally to your show, and that will be charged in final settlement. So if you need more than one audio engineer, say you need more than one audio engineer on a show, or an A2, which is like a secondary audio assistant, that will be charged towards the show and will not be included. If you run into overtime and go over a 10-hour day, labor is billed, 1.5 at the rate of time and a half, and that is not included and will just be a show expense for the show. Food and beverage is provided or is offered for shows. We have a food and beverage sort of director over here, Ken, who is great. We have full bars. We do offer some concessions as far as food. For your catering during the show. So for receptions and sort of pre-show dinners or any sort of thing like that, a lot of times that is run through our private events department, and we have preferred caterers that should be used. We are a little bit flexible with it, but we can talk about that as it comes. That's pretty much all I got for food and beverage. Transportation. If you haven't been here before to Capital One Hall, it is metro accessible. We are right off the Silver Line, walking distance um, to the McLean stop. We also have Metro bus service that runs over here, as well as I feel like the Fairfax County Connector also runs through this way. We have parking garages. We have two parking garages, or for this one parking garage to offer. Parking is $15. We do offer parking and parking validation for staff and performers only over in the garage next door to the venue. We have a pretty large loading dock with 2 bays. It's a very, very short push from stage to dock. It's about 40 feet, I think. It's all flat. We have 2 bays in the dock. So load in, we hope, is very, very easy and very, very convenient. Yeah. All right. Gonna open it up to any questions you have. Uh, up. Let's see what's in the chat. Is the deadline rolling? Are dates first come, first serve? Kelly?
No and no. So the deadline is not rolling. The deadline is May 1st at 7 p.m. That is a deadline that is the same like every year. It's written into the agreement between Fairfax County and Cabot One Hall. It doesn't matter if you give your application to me tomorrow or on May 1st, it's going to get reviewed after May 1st. And there is no like priority given to if you submit an application earlier. Shannon and I will review the applications for eligibility, and we do not have anything to do with the scheduling. We then send it through the process that the county approves it. They send it to Capital One Hall, and then all the information gets handed to Gerard and his team, and the scheduling is completely up to them. So I think that answers the uh, first come, first serve and the deadline question.
Thank you. Are there accommodations for productions in August? There are not accommodations for production in August for this specific program. The theater itself is still open and open to bookings, but for the community arts program, August is not available yeah. To explain the pricing once more, the last chart we looked at, the correct one. The first chart was much cheaper, so I just want to make sure I understand. This is the last chart we looked at. All right, let me see if I can pull this chart back up. Is this the chart you're referring to, Lourdes? Excellent. So, as far as sort of the pricing for how much it takes to be in the theater, you will be charged a standard flat rent fee of $19.50 in the theater. But what's included in that rent is sort of a lot of the production aspects for the show up to a certain level. So like basically you're looking at these expenses on top of rent. So what you're looking at over here of what's included, and then if you go into the next chart, as you can see for the ballet, lighting assistance was necessary for the show production. So you're being charged $450 for that, but you're also including a actual L1 or a lighting engineer on top of that. The box office, you might have went over more than one box office person for that show, so $50 was charged to the show. Stagehands, and I believe, I'm not sure if rigging is included, but stagehands are not included in the production labor charge. So any stagehands that are put on a show is actually going to be charged towards the show as a show expense. Yep. It's not necessarily programming. It just depends on what's required for the show. Really, and that's all determined in our production advance when you talk to our production manager. So yeah. Let's see. Anyone else have a question? Vivian, I believe you have a question. I believe you're on mute. Let me see if I can unmute you. Oh, can't hear you. If you want to drop it in the chat, go for it, and I'll get the question that way. Abba, who is the contact person for your productions outside the program? So I am actually the one that's in charge of booking commercial shows. Yeah, it's like I said before, it's a really busy theater. We have a lot of things going through here. So apologies that you weren't contacted. But yes, feel free to contact me and I will let you know what's going on in August.
Actually, let me jump in for a second too, and I'll add Gerard. usually either myself or Shannon will send an email out to anybody who registered to this event, probably once we get the recording up, so like in about a week or so, and we can include our contact emails. And Gerard, if you want us to, we can put your email in there too, and then just like sort of highlight the links and things we talked about today, because I'm not sure if anybody has your email yet. So we can make sure that that gets out to this group too.
See someone typing. Does anyone else have any questions besides Vivian, which when will this recording be available again? As Kelly said, we'll try and get it up within the week, within sometime next week or the week after. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just a matter of like different staff have to actually update our website. And so, it's usually about a week or so.
Can you hear me now, guys?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. I tried to type it, but it's just too long to type. So I belong to a nonprofit that does music education, but we are originally registered in DC. It's a very old organization. And so, but we do a lot of events in Maryland and in Virginia because we have members from both sides. And we have gotten before something called a foreign entity permission through the county, Virginia, Fairfax County, and Maryland, Montgomery County. And so I wanted to know if that would make us eligible to be part of this program or not.
Go ahead, Kelly.
So generally, no. You have to be really based in Fairfax County and not just kind of but I'm happy to have a conversation because it's sort of hard without fully understanding the scope of your programming to sort of generalize. So if you feel like you're on the cusp or in that situation, I'm happy to speak directly about it.
Okay, Kelly. So should I contact you through email or?
Yeah, I could put my email in the chat in a minute, and my I mentioned earlier my colleague Shannon Smith is she's not feeling well tonight, but she usually is the point of contact for Capital One Hall.
Okay.
I'll put both of us in the chat in a moment.
Thank you.
Thanks.
We'll talk offline about this. Yeah, I can't really discuss commercial bookings right now with this specific on the specific call. Any other questions before we wrap this thing up? All right. Anything else from you, Kelly, before we wrap up?
No, I just like to always say it a lot of times. We do get a lot of questions about all of our applications, and we are definitely prepared to answer them. So please ask them. Don't feel like you're a bother. Shannon and I are happy to talk. And thanks for sharing everything that you did, Gerard.
Thank you. This is my first one, so thanks for the patience with me, and appreciate you all joining us on this call. And hopefully, we'll see you in the theater.
Thanks, Gerard. Thanks, Kelly.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.